And welcome. We are back for the 2026 debut episode of Sit Down Shorts. I am T. Harris at When the Needle Drops.
Now I'm QG at Nerdy Lil Bubba.
And as always, our mission here on Sit Down Shorts and, of course, the live show Saturday Sit Down is to share our love for music in a way that is accessible and enjoyable for everyone, from the novice to the knowledgeable, with the goal of never being loud and wrong. Let the church say amen.
Amen to that.
Amen.
All right, so this is your reminder before we get into the show to subscribe, follow, like, share the Saturday Sit Down on YouTube, Instagram, and now TikTok. We have added TikTok to the platforms where we are posting content. So please do us a favor, man. That's all we asking. It don't take much. Hit that subscribe button, follow the content, hit that thumbs up, share it to your friends who love music. That's all we asking, man. It don't cost you nothing to do that. That's free 99.
That's right. That's all we want.
All right. So, Q, man, I'm excited, bro. I am really excited, man, that we bringing back Sit Down Short. So, for the folks who are tuning into this for the first time, tell them the purpose behind Sit Down Shorts.
So the purpose of the Saturday Sit Down Shorts is just to give you a quick nugget of knowledge and information as far as music is concerned. This is a little shortened format from our normal show, which goes for normally about an hour, sometimes two, depending upon the topic. But this is just a quick 30-minute. Hey, this is something that we thought about. We want to share our knowledge and love of it with the world.
All right, man. Yeah, you're right. So this is sort of serves as a preview to the live show, which we'll talk about towards the end of this particular broadcast. So, Q, since we already on it, man, tell the people what we're talking about today.
All right, we're going to talk about the art of the music video. That's right. When you were young, spry, you sat down in front of known as the Idiot Box, and you may have watched music videos on such channels as MTV, BET, and thereafter VH1. Now, for the other people that lived in other places, you might have had Video Music Box, which I believe was a pay by the video service. But the music video revolutionized and changed the way that we consumed music in the early 1980s.
Absolutely.
And as the song says, video may have killed the radio star.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, man, we here for the art of the music video. We're going to talk about the way we consume music in our era, because the heyday of the music video was the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s. So we're going to look at the history of it, the initial impact, how it changed the landscape of the music business, and kind of where we are today. Because as you know, MTV is sort of on the decline. They're not really showing music videos like that. Neither is BET or VH1 for that matter. So you get your music videos either from watching clips on your favorite social media sites or primarily YouTube now. That's where the artists are releasing those music videos. And they don't have to pay a dime to do that. They just upload them for free, just like we're going to do this episode here today. All right, so I am going to introduce our guest. He ain't really a guest, man. He more like family, if anything, man. This brother, he done been on the South Got Something to Say, but you know him most notably from our Hot Take series. Yep. He's our behind the scenes fact checker, aka producer, and he's also a fellow Gamecock alum, and he's a fan of the University of Miami Hurricanes, who will be playing for a national championship this Monday night. So y'all give it up for none other than JB, the Flow 6 Experience.
JB.
Salute. I will go on record now. I am totally nervous about Monday's game. I've canceled plans with any and everybody because I'm nervous. But it should be a good game. I'm excited about it.
We'll leave you alone until the clock hits 0 in the fourth quarter, man. Because
I'll be asleep by then on purpose.
All right, man. So I'm gonna get into a brief history of the music video before we jump into the Q&A session of this. So just a brief history of the music video. The purpose of music videos began as a marketing strategy to promote the sale of music recordings. Their origins actually trace back to the 1920s when they were basically released as musical short films. Now, videos in the form that we are accustomed to, that we grew up on became popular in the 1960s, but they rose to prominence in the 1980s with the launch of MTV, which was the first time ever you were able to watch music on TV for 24 hours, 7 days a week. Now, just as Q quoted, and this is the irony right here, the first video ever aired on MTV was Video Kill the Radio Star by the Buggles. The irony in that. So after MTV launched, you had a wave of music video channels that launched as a result of that. BET, Country Music Television, Video Hits 1, which we know shorthand is VH1, Video Music Box, and several others. So MTV sort of kicked this thing off, but it didn't start in the 80s. It definitely started decades before that. All right. So let's jump into these questions, y'all. So JB,
I got to make an amendment.
Go
I got to
ahead.
make an amendment.
Jump in
So, technically, it was BET that was first.
Okay. Oh, really?
BET
know
started BET started in 1980, and their prime and the way that they entered into the market was to show music videos.
Okay.
There weren't that many, but that's what they showed.
Now, was this prior to Video Soul with Donnie Simpson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but MTV had more reach when they came on the scene versus BET.
Because of cable subscriptions.
Well, yes, and the fact that BET didn't get picked up by many cable systems until the mid 80s.
Okay, that's right. Because if I remember correctly, like I don't remember us having. So I remember my grandparents got cable like late 80s. I don't remember them having BET until probably 89, but it was like mid 89, like that summer. Yeah,
we had it. I think BET came on in like 85, 86, but they didn't come on until like 8 o'clock at night. So it wasn't like an all day thing.
Okay.
So it was like come on just as Video Soul was coming on.
Okay. So that was pretty much their bread and butter at that point. And then of course BET News after Video Soul went off.
Right.
Cool. Well, listen, man, I appreciate that nugget and that factoid of information. So we're gonna jump into the Q&A, man. So first question, I'm gonna kick it to JB since you are a guest first. So the first question is, how did music videos change music for the better and also for the worse? Because we gotta look at both sides of the coin.
Sure thing. For the better, I believe it gave us a visual to the song itself. And so you hear it on the radio, but then you see the artistic ideas of the band or the group or the artist and how they paint that picture of how this song is supposed to look. Now you permanently have a visual in your mind of said song. So I think that was one thing I would add for the better. And also you got to think of the time frame. There was no social media. So this was our chance to get that virtual look at an artist performance, or, you know, how they even look, how they sound on a different platform, because you hear them on the radio. That's one set of speakers and audio system. Then you get them on TV, different set. So it gives you that exposure. For the worst, I couldn't really jot down something. I know there's something to put in for a worse. So I have to give it some thought as far as what I would deem a worse movie. If anything, it would be the opposite. Now that I think about it, you have in your mind, this artist sounds this way, so you assume they look a certain way. And then when you see them and they're not what you perceive, it may have turned people off from that artist versus being more open-minded, saying, hey, you know what? This is new. This is different. I didn't realize this is what they were or who they were, but now I do. But that doesn't matter. You know, the music is what got me here, and now I'm going to stick to it. If anything, that's probably would be a worse. But I don't think that had much of an impact on that many artists, especially in the era that we're talking about in the 80s and 90s.
Yep. Q.
So for me, it changed for the better because you no longer had to wait until Saturdays to see your favorite artist. Because 9 times out of 10, you had to wait until that time to see your artist either on Soul Train or American Bandstand, Dance Fever, Solid Gold, you know, whatever musical variety show of the day. Now, in my opinion, it changed for the worst because it impacted said Saturday morning shows. Because now you didn't have to wait. You didn't have to watch, you know, those outlets anymore.
All right. So for me, man, I'm pretty much the same way as you guys. Like as far as better, it gave you the visual, but it also kind of gave you something to think back to. Because a lot of times, especially people of a certain age, when we think of certain songs, we immediately flash back to that video. I mean, we're gonna talk about him in the next question, so it'd be the perfect segue. But when you think about Michael Jackson, we often talk about those videos and the impact those videos had on us. For the worse, I honestly felt like folks began putting so much money and emphasis on having the hot video that I think it ended up hurting a lot of artists' performances, their performance skills on stage a lot of times because they put so much emphasis in that. But it also hurt them monetarily because they were taking so much money from that advance that they had from those albums or their album sales period and putting it into the videos. Because once it's gone, you can't recruit that. You can't get that back. So that's how I feel like it definitely hurt those artists in the short run. So we already talked about Michael Jackson. Guys, if you remember when a Michael Jackson video debuted, it was must-see TV. His videos, I mean, people know his videos premiered on every major network, including MTV and BET. So with that being said, how did Michael Jackson change the way music videos were made, especially during the MTV era? Q?
Basically, it created more in-depth visuals. Like, for example, I think it was Rock With You. You know what I'm saying? He in the spacesuit with the lasers. You know, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. He had the bubbles.
Yeah.
You know, Billie Jean. You know, he moonwalking with the lights.
Yeah.
And then there's Thriller. You know, that completely blew everything out the game because you got a Hollywood level or soon to be Hollywood level director to do it, and the cost
$800,000. $800,000 in 1983. That's a lot of money, man.
That was a lot of money in the 80s.
Yep.
And I think that propelled sales of Thriller even higher. Because remember, Thriller came out in 82. The video for Thriller didn't come out till 83. Thriller was still selling out the box in 85.
Yep.
So it was definitely a game changer.
Absolutely. JB?
Sure thing. You mentioned the world premiere piece, and I wrote down and remember when Bad had their world premiere because Michael Jackson had that gap of time in between albums, and so when Bad came out. But I got some stats here. But one thing that I will call out is some of his videos were like mini movies. We talked about Thriller, so I have some stats from the Michael Jackson Bevo account on YouTube, so that we'll be sorting our sources. Citing
our sources.
That too. But Thriller, we talked about Thriller. The full version is 13 minutes and 42 seconds.
Yeah.
Towards the song is somewhere around 3.5. Yep. And you got Remember the Time, 9 minutes, 19 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Smooth Criminal, another one being 9 minutes and 26 seconds. Yep. And Smooth Criminal kind of spinning off and being the movie Moonwalker eventually. But yeah, mini movies nonetheless, but definitely must see TV for sure. And for those to be that long, people sat and watched and stayed captivated to it. Just what's the next nugget that you see in this video, or what dance move can I see or learn to put into my choreography down the line, things of that nature. So MJ and his music videos are definitely a major impact.
Absolutely. And of course, we all know the history that until was it the gentleman's name, Walter, correct me if I'm wrong, Walter Yetnikoff, president of CBS Records. He said, if you don't play any Michael Jackson videos, you ain't gonna play none of my artists on MTV.
Yes, because even though music videos started becoming the medium for a lot of artists to get out there, it was still disparities. Because if you were signed to a smaller record label, you didn't have the budget for a big production, and in some cases, you didn't have a music video at all.
Yep.
Then there's the element of when MTV first started, they did not want to play black music.
Yep.
Because they felt like their audience was strictly rock and roll.
And they played black artists. They played black artists when people were asleep. They had a
Yes.
window of time when they played black artists from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. and that's
Right.
it. If you didn't
Right.
see it on if you didn't see it at that time, you had to see it on BET. That was it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, and I mean, and just to kind of get into it slightly a little bit more, the reason why the president of CBS Records was pushed into doing it was because the black music executives raised hell.
Mm-hmm.
And there was only one man that could go toe to toe with the president of CBS and tell him this is some nonsense. And that was the late, great Mr. Clarence Avant.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So I mean, if it wasn't for Clarence Avant, who actually met with Walter Yetnikoff to make these demands, we don't get a chance to see these visuals, these short films that you talked about, JB, that ultimately impacted the way everybody else made music videos because of Michael Jackson and those videos from Thriller, everybody had to step their game up.
Yep.
Yeah. So now, next question, final question of the Q&A session. You know, of course, now, like I said earlier, videos are pretty much YouTube drops now.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok clips, you know, music countdowns on BET and MTV and VH1, they don't even exist anymore. So with that being said, how have platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and social media changed the way artists create music videos? And what does that mean for the future of the form, JB?
From what I've gathered, it doesn't change the way the music video is made too much, depending on the artist, because I still go to YouTube to hear new artists that first drop just come out. Now, am I glued to the visual as much? It's hit or miss. And so I'll give a good example. So J. Cole just recently released a song.
He did.
And so I'm watching the video, but I'm not really watching the video. I'm just there to listen to the music. I got an idea of what he did, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
To whereas if you have another artist that's more does something outlandish. So Glorilla's one of her earlier videos catches by, they're dancing on top of the bus. And I was like, oh, it caught my attention. So I stopped and actually watched what was going on, kind of pay attention to it as an example. But it's hit or miss depending on the artist and what they're looking to do visually. Mm-hmm. Some is just, you know, a guided performance. Some is, you know, more outlandish and more flashy. But I run to YouTube just for the music and get a chance to hear it first, to talk about it, share the love for it in the moment, more than I do run to it for the sake of let me see the new video that's coming out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially it's become background noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Q.
So for me, it basically puts it's easier access now. Because think about it, we just talked about how when there were music video debuts, you literally had to like be in front of your TV at that time to see it. Whereas now it's in the palm of your hand. Now there was a particular video that came out, let's just say by Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B, where everybody was talking about it online.
Yeah.
And so of course, if you wanted to see it, all you had to do is just go into the search bar and boom, it was right there. But also because people's attention spans are short now, you can post stuff to TikTok and get your point across, I guess, in a minute or 2 minutes or less. Whereas you're not going to really have those big video productions like back in the day, because one, TikTok doesn't allow you to do videos over 10 minutes. And two, people just don't have the attention spans anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if it's a longer video, the algorithm ain't going to catch that, man. Like they just want that snippet. So if you get basically that, those visual snippets is enough to make me, like JB said, go to YouTube. I may not necessarily pay attention to what they're talking about. I'm just listening at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless it's just something just extremely well done, it's going to catch my attention. It's like the performances are dope, but I'm just going to YouTube and TikTok just to see what's going on.
Yep.
All right. So last question, guys. All right. Give me one music video. And I know this is going to be tough. I know y'all probably got a list because I know I got a list. Mm-hmm. What's the music video that you feel like impacted you the most? Q?
So
just one.
Don't worry, I got you. I got you. So the music video that impacted me the most was Public Enemy's Fight the Power. This came out in 1989. Matter of fact, it was July 4th, 1989, off the Do the Right Thing soundtrack. Spike Lee was the producer of the video, and he actually came to Public Enemy to do the song specifically for the movie and or the soundtrack. And it had an impact on me because, you know, there was a lot of symbolism. Like you saw images of Dr. King, whose birthday we will celebrate on Monday. There was images of Malcolm X. You had Nation of Islam that provided security for Public Enemy. They were prominently displayed. And the messaging was that there are still issues that need to be discussed versus being buried under the rug, especially at that time in New York.
All right. JB?
Sure thing. So this particular video is two-pronged because it brings two memories to mind. So the video I'm talking about, directed by Steve Barron, is none other than Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. And so as you would walk down the neighborhood and make sure you didn't step on that crack, and you just hope that the floor would light up as you walk through, or when you lean against the light pole and it lights up. So that visual alone of him walking through and that happening stood out for me as a young lad. But also it led into Motown 25. And when he did his Billie Jean performance, and we all saw him do the moonwalk, being specific, not saying moonwalk for the first time because that wasn't it, but watching Michael Jackson do the moonwalk on TV. So those two memories stay connected, which is why I selected Billie Jean as my video of choice that stood out for me.
All right. And my video of choice, I thought outside the box on this one, man. So Mark Romanek was one of the more prominent music video directors of the 90s. He did videos for everybody. I mean, heck, he's done videos for Michael Jackson. But the video from Mark Romanek that I chose was Are You Gonna Go My Way by Lenny Kravitz. There have been black rockers, because we know that black folks have had an impact on rock and roll. But that was my first time seeing Lenny Kravitz, a brother in the leather suit with the long freeform dreads, and he had the female drummer that was killing it with the little mini fro, and it was like almost like in a gladiator arena. They had lights on the ceiling, but that video and that song, man, I think if I'm mistaken, I remember that video winning all the awards on the VMAs that year. But that's one of those visuals that sort of stick in your mind. But that also let me know as a young 12-year-old, hey, black folks can do rock and roll too, man. And we do it just as well, or in some instances better.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, that concludes the Q&A session. So, Q, tell the good folks what our live episode is going to be on this Saturday. What we're going to be talking about Saturday night.
Saturday night, we are going to talk about the death of the rise and fall of MTV. Now, that's not saying MTV went off the air, because it's still there, but the MTV that we grew up with is no longer in existence. So we're going to get into it. We're going all the way in. Make sure you join us Saturday, 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
And JB will be back with us, and we'll be joined by Wally G this time, another guest on the show, another behind the scenes producer. So we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of MTV, y'all. And Q, I'm glad you put that in there, man, because contrary to popular belief, or contrary to social media belief, MTV is not off the air. Okay, it's still on. They're still running programs. It's just not in the format that we are used to, or what we grew up on. So this is, again, your final reminder. Please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, share, hit the notify on YouTube so you'll know when our next episodes are coming up. All right. Do us a favor. And like QG always says, you just might learn something.
That's right. That's right.
So again, JB, thank you for your time, brother. We appreciate your input. We appreciate your thoughts on this topic. And again, don't forget to tune in this Saturday, a couple days from now, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Sat Chat's going to be popping as always. We look forward to seeing y'all there. Y'all have a good night.